All right, hey everyone, welcome into another Sleeping with the Numbers podcast episode. Just Dylan here today, so I'm just going to do a quick episode here, recapping a real draft, not a mock draft, that we did. Well, it fucking took forever because it was a slow draft. We had people overseas, so this draft took forever. But it did complete, so I just want to go through, review it, mostly for our sake, and then maybe we give ratings to all the teams. I don't really like that, but it's early. It's early, and all you can do is kind of make guesses here. And the truth is, we'll find out who did draft the best team. So for now, I'm gonna run through the draft, and then we'll go through all the teams and see which team we like best. Hopefully, it's our own. So kicking off the draft here, Jonathan Taylor, of course, goes first overall. I should probably say the scoring format here. It is a full point PPR, one quarterback, two running back, two wide receiver, and two flex, kicker, defense, and then some bench spots there. So JT goes off the board first. You really can't argue much there. I would say ceiling is a little higher for some other players in full point PPR, but there's nothing wrong with taking Jonathan Taylor first overall here. What is wrong is taking Derrick Henry second overall. I gave a little crap here for taking him. I could absolutely be wrong. Derrick Henry could come out, be a monster, but I'm not expecting that. I do expect some regression here for him, sadly. Love Derrick Henry as a player, as a man. He is an animal. There's no other word to really describe him. The talent is there. I do worry. One, about the injury, and two, he's at that age where running backs do start falling off that cliff. And then third, and probably the biggest thing here for me, is that it is full point PPR. Derrick Henry isn't really going to be catching a ton of passes. I would love him to, but that's not really his game. He does his work on the ground. Third overall, Austin Ekeler goes, and this was a bit of a reach. I don't really mind it. I do like Austin Ekeler. He's on a fantastic team that I expect a lot of scoring from. And like we talked about in the running back episode, he's a guy that's going to make his points in the receiving game. Hopefully he gets the touchdowns as well. He did get a bunch last season, so hopefully he keeps that up here. I do think it is a reach. You kind of see him going towards the end of the first round. But I mean, in the first round, get your guy. Get who you think is going to get the most points. And that's what seems to have happened here. So Pat and I were in the fourth spot here, and we got our guy. We didn't really think he was going to fall to us, but Christian McCaffrey, I completely understand why people pass on him. The injuries, they are scary, and they will haunt you. But the fact is, he has the highest ceiling of any player, of any position. So he, especially in full point PPR, if he is 75% of what he was, he is still a top tier running back. So we are hoping for him to come back healthy, stay healthy. That's the key thing, and put up those receptions like he's done his entire career. So in terms of points per game, there's no one that does it better than Christian McCaffrey, and that's what we're betting on here. First wide receiver off the board is Justin Jefferson, fifth overall. Again, that makes a lot of sense. Jefferson has been going around the 5 to 7 range, kind of swapping between him, Kupp, and Chase. It all depends on your league. It depends who you like. They're all likely in the same tier. I'd say Jefferson and Kupp are probably in the same tier, and Chase maybe a tier below, just because Chase is more of a big play guy, whereas Kupp and Jefferson are going to get a lot of receptions. So, take your guy. Nothing wrong taking Jefferson here. Najee going 6 overall. This is a difficult one for me, not only because Najee is my favorite player in the league at the moment, but our offense has changed leaders. I expect Mitch Trubisky to come out and start the season under center. But the problem there is Mitch is a lot more mobile than Ben was. And because of that, Najee might not get as many targets because Ben, he's just trying not to get obliterated because we have a terrible offensive line, and we still have that terrible offensive line. So Remains to be seen what happens here. I think Mitch can scramble a bit more, way more than Ben could. So maybe the targets come down. But the bigger problem here for Najee is the same as it was last year. Our offensive line sucks. He did not do much work on the ground. His yards per attempt were awful. And, really no fault of his own, more fault of the offensive line, which really has not been upgraded, if at all. People can argue all they want that, these guys we signed in the offseason are better than what we had. They really aren't. They really aren't. I expect more of the same this upcoming season. So Harris, a bit of a bust candidate here. But would I take him 5th running back off the board? Probably. So here, if this was personally me, I probably would have taken Kupp. Just because, like I said, full point PPR, a little bit safer of a move there. But 5th running back off the board, that makes sense to me. Next goes Ja'Marr Chase. Again, Kupp kind of fallen here. But like I said, get your guy in the first round, and that's what's going on here. Ja'Marr Chase, bigger play type of dude. T. Higgins, probably more of the PPR type guy. But, you can't deny what Ja'Marr did last season. So Dalvin Cook goes here, 8th overall, 6th running back off the board. And again, I think that makes sense, but still, Kupp is on the board, so this is still a bit surprising to me. I think he should have went a while ago. But again, first round, get your guy. Finally, Kupp goes off the board at 9th overall. Again, I probably have him as my wide receiver 1. Look at what he did last season. No reason he can't do it again. Not much has changed with the Rams. 10th goes Stephon Diggs. Little bit of a reach. I honestly think Diggs probably could have made it back to him at the beginning of the second at 2.3, but it works either way because in a lot of the drafts I've been doing, Swift usually goes around the 10th spot, and then Diggs comes back around in the 2.4 to 2.7. I've seen him go as far as that. So it just kind of swapped here. A little spoiler alert for what he picks next, but either way, Diggs, high-powered offense. You can't argue there. Mixon goes 11th overall. He's going to get a lot of rush attempts. Problem here is, even though this is a high-powered offense, head coach doesn't really like to keep a fast pace of the game. So, there's only going to be so many plays they do. But Mixon, high-volume guy, he should be fine. Nick Chubb to end the first round. Again, PPR, I think I would have preferred DeAndre Swift. But now we know Deshaun Watson is getting suspended 6 games. Maybe, Goodell can step in and do something. I doubt it. And the reason I doubt it is because he doesn't want to have responsibility, even though that's his whole damn job. He wants to be like, oh, the judge said 6 games. I guess we better do 6 games. That's exactly what's going to happen. I do not expect anything different, even though they can here. But either way, Watson can come back, a third of the way through the season. And then they'll probably become a much higher scoring offense. While Jacoby Brissett is playing quarterback, they're not going to be scoring as many touchdowns. But Chubb, maybe Hunt, expect about the same for them. But the upside will be there more with Watson under center. Open up the second round with CeeDee Lamb. He's another question mark. We expect him to step into the shoes of a wide receiver 1. Dak should be back. That whole team should be high-powered. But something always seems to go wrong with the Cowboys, and usually that's because of their head coach, McCarthy. Remains to be seen. Travis Kelce at 2.2. Again, a little surprised Kelce goes here instead of Andrews. I personally think Andrews is the number 1 tight end overall. I can see the argument for Kelce with Tyreek leaving. He should get more targets, more volume, more receptions, touchdowns, all the above. But the other thing to take into consideration is Tyreek isn't there anymore to take coverage away from Kelsey. And I don't think guys like Juju or MVS are going to require the attention that Tyreek needed. So it'll be interesting to see here. Again, Andrews probably would have been my pick at tight end at least, but Swift is still on the board here. And if you listen to our running back episode, I'm more on board with Swift. And Swift goes here at 2.3, PPR type of guy, bad team. You expect a lot of garbage time here from Goff. I like Swift. I really do, especially in PPR formats. Saquon Barkley, my guy. Love Saquon. The worry, of course, is what happens here. You may be getting a value at Saquon Barkley at 2.4. You may be getting busted again. It remains to be seen. Giants are probably one of the worst teams in the NFL at the moment. Not going to be a lot of scoring opportunities. If they do it right, they're going to lean on Saquon and give him the ball a lot, much like Najee Harris did last year for the Steelers, and much like they do with Christian McCaffrey in Carolina. So that needs to be the move for New York if they want to compete, I guess. Davante Adams goes here at 2.5. I would never. Personally, I understand. I get it. Davante Adams, great wide receiver, probably the best in the league. But his quarterback isn't. I'm not a Carr guy. I understand they played together in college. I don't really care about that. You know, they try to make those narratives all the time. They did the same thing with Kyler in Hollywood. It doesn't really matter. I get it. They played together before. They did well together before. Now, that's different times, different skill levels, different levels of competition. So we'll see what happens here. I wish the best for Davante Adams, but he will not be on any of my teams. Mark Andrews goes next. So it's Chase and Andrews. Fantastic. He's going to have some trouble here at running back. However, with these first two picks being the pass catchers, so we'll see. We'll get to an overall review after that. Aaron Jones has 2.7, so now he has Najee and Aaron Jones. I love that. I like that a lot. These two guys are going to be explosive pass catchers. I said I was worried about Najee. Again, I'll probably say 75% of what he did in the last season, he's going to be great. Aaron Jones is like the only survivor left in Green Bay at the moment, and he's also a pass catcher. So I really like this approach of the two running backs. High upside guys. There might be games where they disappear. There might be games where they get hurt and they miss a couple weeks, but when they are on the field, they are scary. Debo goes next here, so he has a couple of really good pass catchers, Justin Jefferson and Debo Samuel. Again, it's going to be scary down the line for running back, but full point PPR, you can kind of take those risks. We're back on the board. We take Mike Evans. So we had a discussion here. We wanted T. Higgins, which, again, spoiler alert, we get in the next round. And so we kind of just played the ADP game here and hope that T. Higgins would make it back to us, and he did. So lucked out there. Taking Evans. We expect Godwin to kind of either not be back early in the season or kind of take his time to get back. So it should be Gage and Evans here, with obviously Evans taking the bulk of that work. James Conner goes next, so he has Eckler, Conner. Again, I don't think Conner's going to have nearly as many touchdowns as he did before, but he's now kind of the only running back there. Williams is there as well, but I don't expect a lot of work to be taken away from him. Javonte Williams goes next. So Derrick Henry, Javonte Williams. Again, I love Javonte. Not really the pass-catching type guy. He has a few games where he has a handful of receptions, but Derrick Henry and Javonte Williams, fantastic floors, but your ceilings are capped because they're not really pass catchers. Tyreek goes next. So Jonathan Taylor, Tyreek Hill to end out the second round. I couldn't do it. Tyreek, I didn't really like drafting Tyreek even when he was on Kansas City. Just wasn't the type of player I wanted on my team. But now he's at Miami, new quarterback, new system, new coach. I don't feel great about it. But at this spot, I mean, looking ahead, oof, I probably would take Higgins over him, but I completely understand not doing that. Fournette, ETN, yeah, he was kind of locked to make that pick here, so there's really no problem here. Josh Allen goes next to open the third round. I would again, I don't really like drafting quarterbacks early. Third round for Josh Allen, he should be the quarterback one. There really shouldn't be any doubt about it. It's just the difference between the quarterback one and the quarterback two isn't that much. The distance from quarterback two to quarterback three, it's a little more, but really not that much. That's just my philosophy. Some people like taking quarterbacks early because they get the best one. It's just not my thing. Travis Etienne goes next. Should be great for pass catching. So finally he gets a pass catching weapon here. It is, again, a running back. So Henry, Javonte, and Etienne. Jacksonville shouldn't have a ton of scoring opportunities, but they should be down quite a bit. And if he's the pass catching back, you can expect a lot of targets going his way. Lenny at 3.3. Now it's Eckler, Connor, Fournette. Yeah. Probably going to have trouble down the line at wide receiver. Could have taken a T. Higgins, could have taken a Keenan Allen, A.J. Brown, one of those guys here. But locking in Leonard Fournette, who was catching passes from Brady pretty often, it's not a terrible move. And like I said, we did get T. Higgins next year. You expect him to be the more PPR type guy for the Bengals, so we grab him here. Kyle Pitts off the board as the third tight end, which I think is the standard. It might flip-flop between Pitts and Kittle, but Pitts is scary for me. He doesn't have a quarterback. It is really the biggest problem. Fantastic player, but again, bad quarterback, bad team. Luckily, they're in a somewhat poor division. But the defenses for that division are pretty good. So Jefferson, Debo, Pitts. Keenan Allen off the board here. Again, this is a great pick. So, looking at this right now, AJ, he had the 6th overall, the 6th slot for the draft. I really like his team. Najee, Aaron Jones, Keenan Allen. Awesome. I love it. A.J. Brown goes off the board here. I have trust issues with A.J. Brown. He's similar to Jamar Chase, where he probably won't get a ton of receptions, but he is the big play, big body type guy. But it gives Jalen Hurts a target, and it's really his only target outside of Goddard, maybe. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here. That is a risky type play. So for this team right now, the safest guy is Mark Andrews, with Jamar Chase and A.J. Brown in the wide receiver positions. Cam Akers goes next. This is also a risky pick to me. Akers looked okay coming off that Achilles injury last season, and then he looked awful in the playoffs. So you really don't know what one you're going to get here. That's why I like taking Henderson later in drafts, because Akers could come out and miss some games here. Breece Hall goes at 3.9. Now it's Kupp, Barkley, Hall. Both of those running backs are dicey. I understand Breece Hall is the new hotness, I guess, for a second-round running back. But it is the Jets. You can't expect a lot of scoring there. Maybe a decent amount of volume. Michael Carter is still there. Elijah Moore is there. Garrett Wilson. So there's other options in this offense. So while I kind of like the Jets for fantasy, the fact remains that they are going to be a lower scoring team. Zeke, how the mighty has fallen. So third round, end of the third round, 310 for Zeke. And I think there is a lot of value here in Zeke. People are super down on him. People were super down on him last season in the early stages because Pollard was doing so well. So again, it remains to be seen here what happens with Zeke, but if he comes back to form, this is a great pick at the end of the third round. David Montgomery next. He's the only thing they have in Chicago. That's all I can really say. So he should be a good volume guy. Kamara to end out the third round. His court date got pushed back, so likely to not be suspended this year. But if he is, it would be the later half of the year, which could be a problem. You don't want to lose one of your top guys come playoff time. So, maybe the move here with Kamara is to let him do his thing, put up a bunch of points, and then trade him. That might be the move. Let someone else take that risk after you get your use out of him. Waller off the board here to open the fourth round. So who's he have now? Chubb, Lamb, Kamara, Waller. He could have taken Mahomes. No. Deontay. Nah. Pittman, DJ Moore. Yeah, so maybe the other move would be to take a wide receiver here, but I really don't have a problem taking Waller at this spot. The value's there. Mahomes does go next. Again, I'm not huge on early quarterbacks, but we end up taking one. But Mahomes goes off the board here, and quite honestly, I would rather have a lot of these quarterbacks over Mahomes this season. Deontay Johnson is next. Sadly, I'm down on just about all of the Steelers pass catchers. Their best weapon, Najee, I'm worried about him. Remains to be seen. He should be safe. He should have a floor compared to the other receivers in Pittsburgh. But again, that's a little risky here. Michael Pittman next. So it's Kupp, Barkley, Breece Hall, and Michael Pittman. I like Pittman with Matt Ryan. He should be good. He's a big dude. Really, their only pass catcher in Indianapolis. So yeah, I'm about Michael Pittman here. That should be good. DJ Moore next. Probably has Baker as his quarterback. I probably couldn't do that. The talent is absolutely there. But we've never really seen Baker support a wide receiver one. So, yeah, I'm not big on DJ Moore with the quarterback situation there in Carolina. Justin Herbert, I was upset about this. I was hoping he was going to make it to us, but Justin Herbert gets picked here again. Not big on. This isn't super early, it's not Josh Allen early, but fourth round still feels early for a quarterback. But I love Herbert. He can compete for the quarterback one in a different way. He can throw a poop ton of passing yards and passing touchdowns. That's how he's going to get it done. There were games where he actually ran the ball. So who knows? Maybe he'll get some legs under him. I don't think he's going to have to because they've been bumping up that offensive line, and they're going to be great. Chargers are going to be awesome. George Kittle at the 4.7. Again, risky because we don't know who Trey Lance is going to want to throw the ball to. If he throws the ball at all, he might just run the ball every damn time. So, again, a little bit of a risky pick, but it could pay off. J.K. Dobbins goes here as his first running back, which, we said earlier, when you take Jefferson and Debo in the first two and then Pitts in the third, you're going to have running back problems. Dobbins hopefully can get back for the first for week one, but remains to be seen. We pop back on the board here and we take Kyler Murray. I know I've already just said I don't like taking early round quarterbacks, but quite honestly, the value was there with Kyler. I don't like Terry McLaurin. I don't want Antonio Gibson, Elijah Mitchell, Josh Jacobs, DK. I didn't want any of them. So we end up taking Kyler Murray here. Terry McLaurin goes next. That's his first wide receiver. Carson Wentz as a quarterback. That no good. That no good. But I get it. That's what was there. That was what you were kind of left with. Probably would have taken someone like Mike Williams or Jalen Waddle instead. I'm not big on Terry this season. I just hate Carson Wentz. Lamar Jackson, next off the board. You can flip a coin here between Jackson and Kyler. I'm bigger on Kyler. We took Lamar in another in our best ball league, so we went Kyler here. But Jackson goes off the board here. He already has 3 running backs. Maybe the better move would have been to take a wide receiver. There were a few decent ones left, and kind of looking down the line here at who he has at wide receiver, I think that would have been a better move personally. Antonio Gibson to end out the 4th. I just don't want any Washington Commander. I don't think they're going to be good. They're not going to be scoring enough. They're not fast paced enough. Gibson already got injured. Now again, it's just training camp and everything, so can't take it. Can't go overboard with it, but still, not great. Elijah Mitchell next here. So now his running backs are JT, Gibson, Mitchell. I mean, you have JT as your number 1 guy. Tyreek as your number 1 wide receiver. Josh Allen, you have the number 1 quarterback. But the running back 2 and flex spots, little rough. Again, he had a chance to take the number 2 slot had a chance to take a wide receiver here, but goes for Josh Jacobs instead when he already has 3 running backs. So, again, I could be absolutely wrong. That's what's fun about this stuff is we'll know how it goes. But just looking at it now, wide receivers are rough for this team, for team 2. DK goes off the board here, so those wide receivers are Terry McLaurin and DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf quite literally does not have a quarterback, so I'm not taking any Seattle Seahawk. Mike Williams was there. Waddle was there. Sutton was there. Hollywood Brown was there. Much would have had one of those guys. Hey, maybe know something I don't. We get back on the board, and we're surprised and very happy that Mike Williams makes it back to us. I already talked about how high I am on the Chargers offense, and Mike Williams, I think, is going to play a big part there. Kind of like Christian McCaffrey, there is that injury risk. It seems to happen quite a bit with Mike Williams, but he got the bag, got paid. He'll be back, and they're going to score a lot of points, and I think he can get quite a few of those touchdowns. Godwin next. Depends on the injury when he gets back and everything, but he already has Justin Jefferson and Debo as his wide receiver 1 and 2. So having Godwin as a backup, and if you can wait, which it seems like he can, it's not a bad thing, especially if Godwin gets back to true form. Jalen Waddle, next off the board, should be the PPR guy still in Miami, with Tyreek being the speedster. I don't need to tell you guys that. You guys know that. Does Waddle lose targets to Tyreek? Maybe. But I don't really know. I don't think he has to lose targets. I'm just not big on Tua as a quarterback, but Waddle can still be very good. PPR wise, he broke the rookie reception record last season quietly. Behind all the other rookies were just overshadowed by Jamar Chase, even though they did fairly well. Cortland Sutton. Wow. Okay. Cortland Sutton. Well, now I have something to call him later if he does poorly. Cortland Sutton goes off next here at 5.7. Expecting him to be the wide receiver 1 for Denver for Russell Wilson. I'm not, if you've listened to this show at all, you know I'm not a Russell Wilson guy. But Sutton is a big dude, has a lot of talent. Should be the wide receiver 1 for Denver. And we've seen DK and Tyler Lockett do well with Russell Wilson. If he can bring that here, there's no reason Sutton can't do it as well. Tim Patrick's out for the season, so that I don't think that gives Sutton any more targets, given he probably was already going to get them, but maybe some more touchdowns. Patrick was always the type of guy to kind of snag a touchdown every game somehow. He was always a great throw-in for DFS, but remains to be seen. TJ Hawkinson off the board here. Yeah, what is that? The fifth tight end? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tight end. So TJ Hawkinson. Yeah, no real problem here. He already has Adams as Moore as his wide receivers. There's no real running back you would want here. Already has Cook and Akers. Yeah, no problem with that pick at all. Maybe would have taken Hollywood to pop in your flex, but again, I think they're kind of similar tiers. Allen Robinson goes off next. A little surprised here just because maybe Hollywood's being a little bit overlooked. Hopkins is going to be out for 6 weeks. He should be the guy that Kyler is going to throw the ball to. If you believe that, they went to college together, but I already said I don't believe that. But either way, Kyler needs someone to throw the ball to. It's going to be Ertz. It's going to be Hollywood. Maybe Connor. Connor's going to get some. But yeah, good value here by Team 11. A.J. Dillon goes off the board next to end the 5th round. Again, no real problem with that. If Aaron Jones goes down, A.J. Dillon is going to get a massive workload increase. Not a spectacular pass catcher, but he can do it. I think Green Bay should be a lower scoring team than they were last season. Obviously, they don't have Devontae Adams anymore, but you can't count them out. We'll see what happens. St. Brown opens up the 6th round. Again, no one really to throw the ball to here in Detroit. You have DeAndre Swift, T.J. Hawkinson, St. Brown, and then Williams is. I think he might start on the pup. Remains to be seen. We'll see how he progresses. But St. Brown should still be the wide receiver 1 for that team. Do you believe Goff can support St. Brown, Hawkinson, and DeAndre Swift? Because I don't. So I think it's going to be kind of a merry-go-round on who gets the target that week. I don't think Goff's going to spread the ball around enough to get all of them their dues. Brandon Cooks goes next. I was really hoping he'd get back to us. I like Brandon Cooks, wide receiver 1 for Houston. You can be down on Houston all you want. The fact is Brandon Cooks is their only relevant fantasy player, and he does it every season. So no problem with Cooks here. I think that's a great pick. Even though he waited till the 5th round to get his first wide receiver, Browns and Cooks aren't terrible. It's a little bit of a mixed bag here, but Brown and Cooks really, for your 2 wide receivers, it's not awful. They obviously don't have the ceiling as some of these other wide receivers, but I think the floor is there. Cordero Patterson goes next. Again, Atlanta, low-scoring team. Who knows what he can do this season? Last season may be a fluke, but he's a pass-catching type running back. We'll see what happens there. Jerry Jeudy, next off the board at 6.4. Not a lot to say about him. I'm not a big Jerry Jeudy guy. I'm not a big Russ guy. But credit where credit's due. Russ is going to be able to spread the ball around. Jeudy and Sutton should kind of act like a DK, Tyler Lockett. So if that's the case, Jeudy should be okay. Thielen, next off the board. That's scary. I don't know what to expect from Thielen at all. He's old. He's old. Should be an end zone target, but it's scary. It's scary for me. The other thing here is this team already has Dalvin Cook. I don't like having players on the same team. It limits your upside. Upside, ceiling, whatever term you want to use, because they can't score on the same play unless Cook is throwing the ball to Adam Thielen or Thielen's throwing the ball to Dalvin Cook, which is going to be rare. So I don't like doing that. So maybe Thielen, I don't know. At this point, he is a flex spot player. I guess we'll see what happens here, but I usually don't like doing that. Kareem Hunt off the board here as his first running back. So he went Jamar Chase, Mark Andrews, A.J. Brown, Justin Herbert, Cortland Sutton, and Kareem Hunt is now his running back 1. And that's scary to me. Kareem Hunt is a fantastic running back too because he has a safe floor because he's a pass catching guy. And then, come week 7 when Watson's back and everything, maybe there's a lot more scoring chances. He obviously gets a work increase, much like A.J. Dillon would if Chubb went down. But for a running back 1, it's tough. It's tough. Rashard Bateman goes next. I don't think Lamar is going to be passing enough for him to be relevant. I wouldn't take that pick. So while I was saying this team was my favorite to starting to fade here, but we'll see what happens at the end. Clyde Edwards-Helaire goes off the board next. Is Team 5's running backs are now J.K. Dobbins and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. That is very, very tough. That's going to be difficult. I forgot we did this. We ended up taking Dalton Schultz here at the 6.9. I guess the value was there. We didn't want Drake London. We did need another running back, and we were hoping Kareem Hunt was going to make it to us, and he did not. So that threw us off. We didn't want Sanders. We didn't want Kenneth Walker. We didn't want Harris. Maybe it was wrong to pass them up, but we just weren't feeling any of them. And then even the wide receivers here, Drake London, Michael Thomas, Cooper, Hopkins, we were actually hoping for Hopkins to make his way back to us. That did not happen. So we ended up taking Schultz, which is, does he have a chance to be the tight end 1? Probably not, unless both Kelsey and Andrews goes down. But I think he can compete with the guys like Pitts, Kittle, and Hawkinson, Waller. Remains to be seen. I hope he gets paid. But Dallas, if things stay right in Dallas, which is a hard thing to say, Schultz should be okay because I see him as basically their wide receiver 2. Drake London goes next, a rookie out of Atlanta. And this is just rough at wide receiver. Terry McLaurin, DK Metcalf, Drake London. You can't trust any of those guys on any given week. So while I like the running backs in Eckler, Connor, Fournette, this is what happens to your team later in the draft if you're not grabbing a wide receiver in those spots. You're just going to have to cross your fingers that one of two things happens. One of these wide receivers just has a bomb week and goes off, or your stud running backs do enough that it won't matter, and you don't need a lot out of your wide receivers. Michael Thomas goes next. He's a bum. I don't like Michael Thomas. Jameis, maybe we get 40 for 40 Jameis again. Who knows? I don't think Michael Thomas is the same guy he was before, and I think he was only that guy because of Drew Brees. He has the most receptions in the league. I don't care. I don't care. He did that because of Brees. I don't know. Sure, talent. I just don't. I need to see it again. It's been forever since he's played. I think his last touchdown was in like 2019 or some shit. Like that. That's bad. That's bad. They talk about ring rust in like the UFC. I think it's a real thing in the NFL too. Stadium rust, field rust, whatever the hell you want to call it. And that's his. Oh wow! I just realized that's his wide receiver 1. Like I said, you take these top running backs early. This is the price you have to pay, having these rough wide receivers later in the draft. So, Michael Thomas as a wide receiver 1. Yikes. Amari Cooper goes off the board here next. Again, I think he'll be better when Watson comes back. That was what they were hoping for when they got him and Watson. Hopkins then goes to open the 7th round. That's what we wanted. We wanted Hopkins to come back. We didn't get it. We were excited about our wide receivers and could hold off until Hopkins came back, and then he was just going to put us over the top. Nope, doesn't happen for us. So that's a shame. Mooney goes next. His wide receivers are Michael Thomas and Darnell Mooney. Ouchie. Justin Fields is not an NFL quarterback. That's not going to be fun. Zach Ertz off the board here. He should be good while Hopkins is out. Him and Hollywood should have a good time. I'd personally look to unload him later. But yeah, no problem taking Ertz here. I think that's the right value. We then come back and Pat makes me take Juju Smith-Schuster. Looking around what was available, Gabe Davis, Sanders, Walker, Harris, Elijah Moore. There you go, Pat. You can have that one. No. Juju, if he is the guy for Mahomes, he should be the slot guy. He should be the guy getting peppered with targets. That's going to matter a lot in a very well coached offensive team in Kansas City. The best quarterback. Probably the best quarterback of our generation so far. I think, someone like a Justin Herbert might be able to take over. Remains to be seen. So we take Juju here. Potential is there, but risk is there. But that's okay. In the seventh round, midway through this draft, we already have Evans, Higgins, and Williams. Juju is just a flex guy at this point, so we can swap him out week to week if needed. But there's going to be weeks where Juju's going to have really solid games. Gabe Davis goes off the board next year. People are excited about him. Sure, I think that's fine. Should be the number 2 in Buffalo. Again, high-scoring offense. There's potential there. And this guy already has fantastic wide receivers, so this is just a depth play. Miles Sanders goes off next. The Eagles run the ball a lot. They were tied for the most rush attempts last season, but a lot of those rush attempts, of course, came from Jalen Hurts. Miles Sanders just simply can't get in the end zone. You would imagine that to change this season, he should see some positive regression there for Miles Sanders. Kenneth Walker off the board. So now his running backs are Kareem Hunt and Kenneth Walker. And just like taking a bunch of running backs early, not taking a running back early can also kind of hurt you here. So Hunt and Walker are his starting running backs. So you got to find that good middle ground because you might get position locked and just be screwed. You're gonna have to trade in the season, and personally, if I see someone trying to trade me and they're in this situation, squeeze them for what they got. So it's gonna be a little tough. But if Walker ends up on top, we know Pete Carroll likes to run the ball, so we'll see what he can do. Penny, I believe, will remain the running back 1 until he gets injured in like week 3 or something like that. Damian Harris goes off the board next year, New England running back. Who knows with New England? It's kind of like a carousel for who's going to be the guy. It sounds like Ramondre. It sounds like Harris. Who knows? It's a chance you got to take here. Dallas Goedert off the board next. I really don't have a problem with that. I like Elijah Moore, but he already has a decent amount of wide receivers: Kupp, Pittman, Robinson, Jerry Jeudy. So Goddard makes sense here. Elijah Moore does go next off the board. No problem. That's who needed to go. That makes a lot of sense. Devin Singletary goes next. If he can repeat what he was doing towards the end of the season last year, that's a amazing value. The thing is, does he do it? For some reason, Zach Moss is still on the Buffalo Bills, and they went and drafted Cook. So we'll see what happens here with Singletary. Dak off the board next, which really surprised me because I like Jalen Hurts a lot more than Dak. But either way, Dak goes off the board here. They have a stack now, CeeDee Lamb and Dak. That could be dangerous. Devonta Smith next off the board here. He did good. He did good as well. Like I said, he was overshadowed by Jamar Chase, much like Waddle was. So Devonta, while we assume he'll likely take a downturn because of A.J. Brown's arrival, an 8th round pick for him really isn't terrible. Personally, I think I would have went with Renfrow, who goes next here, just because Josh McDaniels, he knows how to support those little wide receivers that catch a bunch of balls. Look at Julian Edelman. So I'm high on Renfrow this season, which is this next pick. So after that, 8.3, Pat Freiermuth goes off the board. He got injured in training camp. Sadly, he'll be fine. It's all just training camp stuff. I like Freiermuth here. Obviously, as a Steelers guy, his name's fun to say. Looking around at what he could have took. Already as a quarterback, he has Joe Burrow. Maybe Chase Edmonds if Patterson doesn't work out. But yeah, no problem here with Pat going in the 8th. Jalen Hurts does go next, so he has a stack here with Hurts and Goddard. That can be fun. But running back depth is a little shallow at the moment, so he has Barkley and Breece Hall. I would have personally, even though, like I just said, I love Jalen Hurts, so really no problem with this pick here, but it would have been difficult for me not to take Chase Edmonds, who should be leading the backfield in Miami, and we already know he's a pass-catching guy, and in a PPR league, that matters, obviously. What a stupid thing to say. Of course it does. So Chase Edmonds does go off the board here next. Yeah, I love that pick. It's solid value, especially in a full-point PPR league. Rashard Penny next seems to be... It's like a reverse handcuff because Penny should be the starter, but he drafted Kenneth Walker first. Again, gonna have a rough time at running back with Hunt, Walker, Penny. You can't play both Walker and Penny, and at the moment, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. Right now, he would be playing both of them. In the Kareem Hunt and Walker in the running back slot and Penny in the flex with Sutton. So that's rough. That's going to be troublesome. Treylon Burks goes off the board next. I like Treylon Burks as a player, but I'm down on Tennessee as a whole this season. But I could absolutely be wrong. He could have a monstrous season. I am just not predicting it. Pollard off the board next. Might end up playing Pollard over J.K. Dobbins if Dobbins doesn't come in to play early on. So this guy also having some running back trouble. Then we take Melvin Gordon as our running back too. So like I said, we didn't take running backs early, other than Christian McCaffrey. So we were in trouble. We're like, we need to get a running back. We were hoping Chase Edmonds would fall to us, even a Rashard Penny. We don't mind Gordon as our running back too. If something happens with Javonte, he's going to get a big uptick in work. But he'll be okay on his own. Looking like they'll likely split 50-50 again. And Gordon tends to be the goal line back. He kind of switch back and forth, but either way, we got a little rough here at running back. That is our running back too. So maybe we do some trading in this season. Robert Woods goes next. Should be healthy, should be the PPR guy in Tennessee, but it's Derrick Henry's team, so it remains to be seen. Dawson Knox off the board at 8-11. I don't know, man. When your wide receivers are currently Thomas and Mooney, I think you got to take some shots here on some other wide receivers. Kadarius Toney was there, who he ends up taking next round. Brandon Ayuk, Alan Lazard, Christian Kirk, Chris Olave, Tyler Lockett. Even you got to take some shots here when your wide receiver room is pretty shallow. Jared Cook for Buffalo goes next. I have no idea what to say about Cook. Yeah, I really don't. And that's a shame because I should. If he's the guy, he's going to have a lot of opportunities, but Singletary's there. Zach Moss is still there for some reason. He's a rookie. It remains to be seen. Mike Gesicki goes next. No real issue with that. No, that seems fine. Well, no, I lied. He already has Tyreek Hill, who's on Miami, and I already talked about that limiting ceiling when you have two guys on the same team playing. But Tyreek's been known to throw a few passes, so maybe that happens. He does. Team 2 takes Kadarius Toney next. So wide receivers are Thomas Mooney, Tony. Thomas Mooney, Tony. Thomas Mooney, Tony. That's fun to say. Yeah. You just have to plug them in and hope. That's really what's going on here. Maybe we can make a trade. Maybe that's what we'll do. He has running backs. We have wide receivers. We need running backs. Maybe that'll happen later in the season. Brandon Ayuk goes next. Who knows where Lance wants to throw the ball? I'm personally staying away from all San Francisco, and that does include Debo. We end up taking Allen Lazard, who sounds like he should be the number one guy here in Green Bay. Christian Watson may be missing a good chunk of training camp, and that is big for a rookie. Rodgers seems to know his guys, Lazard. Let's see what they can do. Ramondre Stevenson goes off the board next. We were thinking about taking him here. I don't know why we didn't in retrospect. But that's okay. Ramondre Stevenson goes off here. And again, who knows? It's going to be Harris or Stevenson. It could be someone way down on the depth chart. We never know with Belichick and his running backs. Christian Kirk goes off the board here. And there's some sleeping going on Christian Kirk. He could be a solid guy. He probably should be the wide receiver 1 in Jacksonville. And if Trevor Lawrence can be who he was meant to be, there's value there with Kirk in the 9th round. Chris Olave at the 9.7. Maybe Jameis can spread the ball around enough. They should be a pretty pass-heavy team, and that is including Kamara. Yeah, we'll see what happens here with the rookie. Christian Watson, another rookie, goes off the board here for Green Bay. He's injured coming in to training camp, it sounds like. I already just talked about this and why we took Lazard. He might be good for, a keeper dynasty type league. I probably wouldn't touch him in redraft here. I'm going to start speeding this up a little bit. Russell Wilson goes off the board here. This was an auto pick. The guy's only allowed to look at his phone when he goes to the bathroom, which is weird. He kind of got a little upset when I kind of grilled him a little bit about it. But, I don't know, man. If you're at a job that hounds you like that, I don't know. I'm privileged. Sorry. Tyler Lockett off the board next. If I'm going to take a Seattle Seahawk wide receiver, it's going to be Lockett just because of the value. DK's too expensive. Sky Moore at 9-11. If he ends up being the guy, again, we don't know who the guy is going to be here in Kansas City. Sky Moore did come up with an injury today, I believe. But again, it's early on. He'll get healed. He'll be fine. Garrett Wilson ends the 9th round. I think Elijah should remain the one. It sounds like he's the clear-cut number 1. Garrett Wilson, I think I would like more for a best ball league. Aaron Rodgers gets picked next. So now they have 2 quarterbacks, Prescott and Rodgers. Probably wouldn't have done that in redraft leagues. I tend to only take 1 quarterback and just play it by ear. If something happens, I'll stream if I have to. I usually do that for both the quarterback and tight end position. Nyheim Hines goes off the board here next. I was kind of hoping he would make it to us. He does not. Tom Brady. Again, you get 2 future Hall of Famers here in Tom Brady and Joe Burrow on this team. Again, I'm not big on taking multiple quarterbacks in my redraft leagues. John Dotson goes next for on Washington. Carson Wentz is throwing the ball. No, thank you. Kirk Cousins goes next. That is his QB1. No real problem with that because he filled out his starting positions. He got some depth, and then he took a late quarterback in Kirk Cousins. That's fantastic. No problem with that. Maybe, who do you take around here? Cousins was available, Stafford, Trey Lance, Derek Carr. For me, it would have been between Cousins, Stafford, and Lance. What do you believe in Lance? Do you think he's going to be the rushing quarterback? Is he going to be the Lamar of years past? All remains to be seen. Tyler Algier, I hope that's how you pronounce his name, running back for Atlanta, goes next. I don't know. You hope maybe he does something, but I don't really know if he's always getting drafted. So maybe a reach, but that's okay. Stafford off the board next, late round quarterback, his only quarterback, solid pick. Nothing wrong with that. Trey Lance. So Team 5 takes the risk with Trey Lance. So he has that Debo Trey Lance stack. That could be fun. That could be super dangerous. So that'll be exciting to watch. We then take Chase Claypool. So it felt like we were taking 2 Steelers here with Juju and Chase, but it's really just the one. I don't know. We'll see what happens with Chase. He should be a big play type of guy, not really a PPR player, but we'll see what happens. Derek Carr off the board next. Another late round quarterback. I'm not a Carr guy, but for a late round quarterback, you can do worse. Rondale Moore at the 10.11. Again, problems with wide receiver Thomas Mooney, Tony Moore. It gets more fun to say each time. Thomas Mooney, Tony Moore. Wow. Yeah. Good to add depth here at wide receiver because likely be cycling them a good bit. Let's make a trade. DJ Chark goes next to finish out the 10th round, and then the Bills defense gets taken in the 11th round. So I'm usually against that. There's usually no value in doing that. If you look at the statistics, taking a defense or a kicker super early over the depth pieces, there's usually not a statistical value there. Versus, your opportunity cost, I guess. Then your next best option, your Batna, is usually better than taking a defense or a kicker this early. It's like, yeah, cool. You get the number 1 kicker or the number 1 defense. How many points are those really scoring for you? Versus, if you have a guy go down and you have someone on your bench, that's what you're going for in these late rounds. You want someone who has an opportunity, and you find those diamonds in the rough. Those can win you your league. So not big on taking a defense that early. Dameon Pierce goes next. We were hoping he was going to make it back to us. He does not. Cole Kmet. He has 2 tight ends now with Ertz and Kmet. I'm not big on taking more than 1 tight end. There's really no need. It's like you get the top 4 or 5 guys, and then the rest are basically streamers. We end up taking James Robinson, hoping something happens here. It doesn't look like it, but we needed another running back. We are having a lot of running back trouble here. Isaiah Spiller next. Again, a little bit of running back trouble here. Dobbins, Edwards, Pollard, Stevenson, now Spiller. But if Eckler goes down, Spiller should take that role pretty decisively. Ronald Jones next. If Clyde can't get it done, there were talk about Ronald Jones being the starter. And then there were talks about Ronald Jones not even making the team. So who knows what happens with Ronald Jones. Brian Robinson, running back for Washington, goes next. Again, I don't want any Washington player, but I think he does have an opportunity. Gibson's been known to fumble and get injured, so something can happen here. Oh boy, I can never pronounce this name. Albert Okwuegbunam, the Denver tight end, goes next here. Again, has 2 tight ends now. I don't do that. Gallup next. It might be a little bit for him to get back, but this guy has Kupp, Pittman, Robinson, Judy. He is A-OK on wide receivers. Jarvis Landry goes next. Really just a depth piece there. Hunter Henry, again, 2 tight ends, Kelsey and Hunter Henry. I do like Hunter Henry, but you're never going to play him over Travis Kelsey, so why, waste that bench spot? Mark Ingram is off the board. He's solid if Kamara gets suspended. Otherwise, he's probably a drop candidate. Remains to be seen. Irv Smith, again, 2 tight ends, Waller and Irv. Not big on it. Tua already had Mahomes. Again, not big on it. Take these depth guys instead. You're never going to play Tua over Mahomes unless he gets hurt. Michael Carter off the board next. He could still be the starter. We really don't know. But we will find out. Richard, I don't know how to pronounce it. White, running back for Tampa Bay. Again, should have a decent opportunity if Lenny were to go down, or if he fumbles no. He's not there anymore. Why can't I think of that coach's name? Doesn't matter. Richard White should have an opportunity. Julio Jones gets drafted next, and I believe he was drafted before he signed with Tampa Bay, so that was a good call there by Daryl. So Julio Jones gets a chance to play with Tom Brady. That'll be fun to watch until he hurts his hamstring in week 2. Jacoby Myers next here. Is he the wide receiver 1 for New England? Maybe. Is it Devonta Parker, who goes later? Who knows? I don't think I really want any of those passing weapons for New England here. Alexander Madison, good backup. He's always going to get drafted. If the Cook owner doesn't get him, someone else will, because we all know from years of experience, Cook goes down, Madison's the guy to step up. Marlon Mack comes in, drafted just 1 round later than Pierce was. So, again, a little cloudy in who's going to be the starter in the backfield for Houston. They say it's going to be Mack, but I personally think Pierce will end up with the job by the end of the season. So, whatever. Add some depth, see what happens. Would have much rather taken Russell Gage, which is what we do here. Again, if Godwin is not back in form or unable to play at all, Gage should be the guy. Tom Brady wanted him there. He is there. I like Gage. He gives us some good wide receiver depth here. Even though we need running backs, there's just no one here that we're comfortable taking. Mostert off the board here. I don't know how much damage he really does here in Miami. Nothing more than a depth piece and honestly a backup here. Starting off with 3 running backs, Eckler, Connor, Fournette. This is the first running back since, so a little rough in terms of the backfield if one of those guys were to go down. Jameson Williams next off the board here. Again, it's tough for rookies in general, rookie wide receivers even more so. For a dynasty league, obviously you're going to take them, but for a keeper league, maybe a little bit more that you should take them. For redraft, I like taking known commodities for the most part. I don't think we took any rookies. Yeah, no, we didn't take any rookies. So mostly known commodities, some guys on different teams, but overall, we know the talent that we have been drafting. Tyler Boyd goes off next, and I like Boyd. I like him a lot. If Higgins or Jamar goes down, he's in a fantastic spot with a great quarterback. MVS, I also like this pick because we have no idea who the guy's going to be in Kansas City. Could be Juju, could be MVS, could be Sky Moore. It all remains to be seen. First kicker goes off the board, Justin Tucker. Yeah, sure. that's fine. Last 3 rounds. Is there some better guys to take for depth? Maybe. Parker, Henderson. Who knows? It's impossible to say. Tim Patrick goes off the board here next. He just had a very bad injury. He's going to be out for the season. We didn't know that, obviously, when he drafted him. So shame of a pick there. This is why you don't draft this early. You'd be like, it's just Tim Patrick. It happens every year, and it's going to happen more before the season starts. Draft as late as you possibly can. We end up taking Watson. This is before we knew what his suspension was. We were taking a risk here. You never want to have the douchebag on your team. But at the same time, you're trying to win. So we drafted him here. For right now, he has 6 games. We'll see what happens. Devonta Parker goes next. Again, I don't want any New England pass catcher. Ravens defense off the board. Shocking, the Rams or the Chargers weren't going here, but the Ravens go off the board. Then the Steelers defense. We were hoping to get the Steelers defense. We think they're being overlooked. Our front seven is scary. Secondary is always a problem, but we're gonna get some sacks this season. Matt Ryan here again, second quarterback for them. Kirk Cousins, Matt Ryan. I know we just took a backup quarterback, but I felt like that was a little different because he could end up being a starter, and honestly, probably someone to trade away. Kenneth Gainwell, sure, he had some value last season. We'll see what happens. Darrell Henderson next. I really like that. If Akers goes down, Henderson in the 13th round, that's fantastic. Kenny Golladay next. That's scary. Kenny Golladay used to be one of my favorite players. Then he went to the Giants. Poor guy. Evan McPherson goes next. Alec Pierce for the Colts. He could be someone. We'll see what happens there because Paris Campbell, he's probably not going to be anything. Buccaneers, Rams, Chargers, 49ers. Darrell Williams for Arizona. He could end up being the pass-catching guy, maybe taking that Chase Edmonds role. Remains to be seen. Daniel Carlson, Gus Edwards. I believe something just happened to him. Matt Gay, we take him here as our kicker. George Pickens goes next. If Chase goes down, Pickens should be the guy. I also just really like Pickens in general. Justin Fields, he should never be drafted. Noah Fant, backup tight end to Gesicki. At that point, just stream. There's no point of having both of these guys take up roster spots. Harrison Butker, Saints, Colts, Jonathan Tolbert for Dallas, J.D. McKissick, solid for PPR, Brandon McManus, Tyler Bass, Khalil Herbert, also like him as well. Matt Prater, Nick Folk, Dallas Cowboys. And that is the draft. So let's just kind of quickly recap. I'm not going to... screw it. Yeah, let's put them in order. Let's see what we can do here. So, team 1, Jonathan Taylor, Tyreek Hill, Josh Allen, Antonio Gibson, Elijah Mitchell, Amari Cooper, DeAndre Hopkins, Cook, Mike Gesicki, DJ Chark, Buffalo Bills, Tyler Boyd, MVS, Noah Fant, Butker. This is a team that's kind of spread, and this is what happens when you take an early quarterback. So Jonathan Taylor and Tyreek Hill, I think both of those first two picks were great. Taking Josh Allen instead of another kind of, low-end RB1, high-end RB2, that's where it got dicey here. Because his next picks, Gibson, Mitchell, neither one of those guys you really want as your running back two. Both of them absolutely have an opportunity. But I would bet one, if not both of them, may fail due to injury or something else. So that's a little scary there. Also, your wide receiver 2 is Cooper. I don't really like him until Watson comes back. I don't think Jacoby is going to be able to do much. Hopkins, I love. That was a great pick. But you got to wait 6 weeks to get him. DJ Chark there, Boyd, MVS. Again, I like most of those guys, not Chark. But likely you're not starting them week to week, so it's a little dicey there. Team 2, Henry, Williams, Etienne, love those running backs, but then they get screwed wide receiver-wise. Jackson at quarterback, then they take Jacobs, Michael Thomas, Mooney, Tony, Moore, Williams as their wide receivers. There's not a wide receiver 1 there. I would almost argue there's not a wide receiver 2 there. So that is rough. Also, they took Justin Fields, so that's bad. Eckler, Connor, Fournette, again, sounds great. But then you get to the wide receivers, Terry McLaurin, DK Metcalf. 2 years ago, you're very stoked about those two. Not so much right now. Drake London, Robert Woods, Brandon Ayuk, Tim Patrick, who's gone, George Pickens. Wide receivers are going to be a problem here. Running backs, fantastic. Good tight end with Zach Ertz. Didn't need to get the backup with Kmet. I think it's going to be rough for him as well. Let's make a trade. Our team, Christian McCaffrey, Mike Evans, T. Higgins, Kyler Murray, Mike Williams, Dalton Schultz, Juju, Melvin Gordon, Lazard, Claypool, James Robinson, Russell Gage, Watson, Gay, Colts. We have running back problems. That is very obvious. We only have 3 running backs. Christian McCaffrey needs to be our savior at running back. Melvin Gordon, I don't mind for a running back too. Definitely has potential if something were to happen to Javonte. James Robinson, I don't know how much faith I have there. Remains to be seen. But no doubt we have running back issues. I do like our wide receivers though. Evans, Higgins, Williams, Juju, Lazard, Claypool, Gage. Especially those first 3 guys. Evans, Higgins, Mike Williams. Those are all very exciting players that I think are great. Team 5 here, Justin Jefferson, Debo, Kyle Pitts, J.K. Dobbins, Chris Godwin, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Gabe Davis, Tony Pollard, Stevenson, Trey Lance, Spiller, Mack, Parker, Edwards, Tolbert. He didn't take any defense or kicker because the commissioner forgot to set minimums. Come on, guys. First league over there in the UK. So he thought he was cheeky, but at the same time, after round 2, he didn't draft anyone great. So not great there. Debo, Jefferson were the best picks, but J.K. Dobbins and Clyde as your RBs, that's problematic. AJ, we talked about his team 6 here. I really liked going on, and then it got a little dicey. Najee Harris, Aaron Jones, Keenan Allen, George Kittle, Jalen Waddle, Rashard Bateman, Miles Sanders, Burks, Kirk, Stafford, Ronald Jones, Madison, Ravens, Carlson, McKissick. All in all, I do like this team. Could be a little better on the wide receiver side. Maybe if he didn't take, no, looking back at it around there, he kind of had to take Kittle. Maybe Kyler would have been a better move, but all in all, solid team. Team 7, Goat Rising, Chase, Andrews, A.J. Brown, Herbert, Sutton, Hunt, Walker, Penny, Olave, Algier, Robinson. So he took all the rookie running backs in hopes that one of them hits. Again, his running back 1 is Kareem Hunt. That's problematic. We've kind of seen that happen a couple times here. Even the wide receivers aren't strong enough to hold up those running backs. Mark Andrews hopefully can help there. I think he will. That's a little worrisome. You kind of want a little bit more of a balanced team. Dalvin Cook, Devontae Adams, Cam Akers, DJ Moore, TJ Hawkinson, Adam Thielen, Harris, Edmonds, Watson, Cousins, Alberto for the Denver tight end. I can't say his name. Julio Jones, Matt Ryan. We won't worry about the defense and the kicker. I gotta say here, not a ton that I hate. I think a lot of these guys may be risky. Devontae Adams, I think is risky. Cam Akers, risky. DJ Moore, risky. Adam Thielen, risky. Harris, risky. Edmonds. Somehow Edmonds feels like the safest of that group somehow, even though he has a bit of competition there in Miami. Watson, risky. Cousin, sure. Yeah, they're safe. Julio Jones, risky. Injury. But if they all hit, could take it all. But overall, a very risky team. Team 9 here, Cooper Kupp, Saquon, Breece Hall, Pittman, Robinson, Judy, Goddard, Hurts, auto pick, Wilson, Dotson, Gallup, White, Gainwell. Like the wide receivers a lot. I like the quarterback. Russell Wilson was an auto pick for him. Really like Jalen Hurts, stack him with Goddard. I think that's great. The problem is, even though he took running backs pretty early in the second and third round, they're also risky guys. Barkley, we know he's risky. Breece Hall, any rookie is risky. So usually in like my first 3 to 4 rounds, I want to take as little risk as possible. I know I say that as we take CMC, but predicting injury is not really something we want to be doing here. Next team 10's Diggs, Swift, Elliott, Deontay, Burrow, Patterson, Elijah Moore, Pat Freiermuth, Lockett, Brady, Landry, Carter, Henderson. I like this team honestly quite a bit. The only thing down I can say is, maybe you didn't need to take two quarterbacks, but a Henderson in the 13th can pay off massively. Michael Carter in the 12th can pay off massively. Lockett in the ninth. I said it before. Seattle doesn't have a quarterback, but Lockett has an opportunity. Team 11 here. This team started off with like three different owners, but so it got a little off track. But Mixon, Kelsey, Montgomery, Mahomes, Hollywood Brown, Brandon Cooks, Singletary, Renfro, Sky Moore, Hines, Hunter Henry, and Tua Galladay. So last few picks there aren't great. Mixon, obviously a solid running back one, very steady, safe floor. Kelsey, would have rather had Andrews, but it's Travis Kelsey. We'll see what happens there with him. David Montgomery is another kind of volume, should be a safer play, higher floor type running back. But Chicago's not going to score a lot. They are a very, very bad team. Wide receivers, Hollywood and Cooks, again, he took them late, but I don't have a horrible problem with those wide receivers. Renfro can even come into his own, and again, full point PPR. That could be great. Singletary, I don't know about that. Hines, I like him as a pass catcher, but that's Jonathan Taylor's team. Sky Moore, again, opportunity there to be the guy for Patrick Mahomes. So maybe you have that stack, triple stack maybe with Kelsey, Mahomes, and Sky Moore. Who knows? No need to draft Tua. No need to draft Galladay. No need to draft Hunter Henry. So some, I think, wasted bench spots there. But starters, I don't hate. Final team here: Nick Chubb, CeeDee Lamb, Alvin Kamara, Darren Waller, AJ Dillon, St. Brown, Dak Prescott, Devonta Smith, Garrett Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, Mark Ingram, Ito Smith, and Alec Pierce. Wide receivers might be a little shallow. CeeDee Lamb he should be able to take this role. I really don't think he'll have a problem. But if he can't, that is a problem for this team. Nick Chubb, great. I think he'll be better, with all Browns, with Watson back. Kamara, if he doesn't get suspended in the third round, that's fantastic value. End of the third round, that's fantastic value. Darren Waller in the fourth, maybe Devontae takes away some of the end zone targets. Again, remains to be seen. I like Waller though. Waller's fun to watch. AJ Dillon, is he a flex? He's likely in the flex position here. It really depends on Aaron Jones and how they perform if they split that work. If Aaron Jones goes down, obviously A.J. Dillon is a fantastic play, but I don't really like having players that I have to hope for an injury in order for them to be relevant. That's never good. So all in all, man, I think my favorite team might be, well, let's knock out who it definitely isn't. So team 2 with Thomas and Mooney as their starting wide receivers, that's a no. Team 1, Gibson and Mitchell kind of as their running backs 2 and 3. Cooper as their wide receiver 2. I think that's a no as well. Starting wide receivers for team 3, McLaurin and Metcalf, that's a no. I got to keep my team in there, right? I give a little bit of bias. Team 5 is a no because their starting running backs are Dobbins and Edwards. Team 6, I did really like this team, kind of until the end. It fell apart a little bit at the end, but overall, Team 6 is up there. Team 7, running back problems as well. Hunt and Walker and Penny. Who's starting between Walker and Penny as your running back too? Knock them out. Team 8, I don't hate it. I just Adams and Moore just seem. This team is just all around risky, it feels like to me. So I think I have to knock them out. Cup, I don't like the starting running backs. Team 9's out. Team 10, Swift, Elliott. I do like this team. So Team 10 will stay in there. Team 11, I also don't have a problem with that. Team 12, wide receivers are a bit shallow. So team 4, our team, team 6, team 10, and team 11 are top. I fucking lost count. I can't count. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think our team is shallow on running back, so I think I objectively have to take us out of the running. That doesn't mean we're the fourth best. We're probably number 2. But I do got to take us out of there just because we are short on running backs, and that is a problem. So looking at team 6, 10, and 11. Team 6 just played to how I personally draft, which is early running backs, 1 tight end, 1 quarterback. Stream whenever you need to. I think I got to knock out team 11 because of the 2 tight ends. Man, so team 10 and team 6. Those are very, very close. I'm going to go with team 6 as my current favorite team. I think the slightest mistake was made with team 10 having both Deontay Johnson and Pat Freiermuth. Like I said, they cannot both score points at the same time, so that is limiting the ceiling. So team 6, Najee Harris, Aaron Jones, Keenan Allen, George Kittle, Jalen Waddle, Rashard Bateman, Miles Sanders, Treylon Burks, Christian Kirk, Stafford, Ronald Jones, a little dicey there, Alexander Madison, Ravens, Daniel Carlson, J.D. McKissick for the very last pick, I think is my favorite team. But as soon as we trade for another running back, we're the best team. So that's just a fact. All right. So that'll do it for this episode. Thanks for tuning in. This is the Battle of the Pods fantasy league we were doing. We're in it with a bunch of other fantasy or football related podcasts. It's an open league. You can follow along if you wish. Please do. Reminder that we have our game, Fumble, on the iOS App Store and Google Play Store. It is a fantasy football guessing game. You will continuously guess fantasy players and then get some return stats and continue guessing until you get it correct. Reminder to also check out Monkey Knife Fight. We're only a couple months away, one and a half months away, really, before the NFL season starts. So get started with Monkey Knife Fight if you want to do some prop betting this season. Get your first $100 match instantly. So you deposit $100, they give you $100. Guess what? Now you got $200 to bet on Monkey Knife Fight on prop bets for the NFL season. You're ready to go. We're also affiliated with BarkBox. If you want to get a nice subscription package for your fluffy friend, BarkBox is the best place to do so. Every month usually has a theme. There's like a Star Wars theme. There was a Spider-Man theme. There's always some sort of theme going on, and they're great, high-quality treats and very tough toys. If your dog is a bit of a muncher and rips up toys, I have 3 ripped up dog toys and fluff everywhere in my living room right now. Those weren't from BarkBox. You get the ones from BarkBox. Those will last you. And if you use our link in the description, you will get your first box free. So please check it out, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.